Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. It's always interesting to witness the so-called Minister for Energy and Emissions talking about energy policies, because the great thing is with this minister, if you don't like his current policy, another one will soon come along, because they are on 22 energy policies since they've come into power. 22! In fact, they had 4 energy policies in 14 days in one period, which is spectacular, Mr Deputy Speaker. And the truth is that this is another thought bubble from a government that is out of ideas. The so-called roadmap, technology roadmap, is lacking completely in commitments. Estimates last week or 2 weeks ago showed that the evidence from the department said that don't confuse commitments with projections. Don't confuse commitments with projections. It is yet another thought bubble from this government. And I'm glad the minister talked about 2020 and how they're going to hit the emissions reduction target. Well, I've got the government's own documents here that show how they're going to hit 2020. They're going to hit 2020 by killing manufacturing. Reduce fuel consumption in the manufacturing sector, i.e. chasing away the auto sector. Reduce petrol consumption in the transport sector, because economic growth is so slow that we don't carry as many goods as we used to. And because of the drought. So let me repeat, how will they hit 2020? By killing manufacturing, by killing economic growth and by the ongoing drought. That is how they hit 2020, Mr Deputy Speaker. What a joke. And how will they hit their so-called 2030 target? How will they hit the so-called 2030 target? First, lower electricity demand, again because they've killed manufacturing. Secondly, growth in renewable energy due to state government commitments. That's their own document saying it's not them doing anything in renewable energy, it is state government commitments driving increased renewable energy. And that still leaves them only 16% below 2005 levels. They need to do another 10% to even hit their own inadequate target. And that brings in the illegal Kyoto carryover units. Illegal because no other country recognises them. They don't exist in the Paris Treaty. They don't exist in the Paris Treaty at all, Mr Deputy Speaker. So they only hit 16% through killing manufacturing. They then use another 10% by illegal Kyoto carryover units that no other government will accept. And this neglects the other great truth, that they don't have a 2050 net zero emission objective, which is what the Paris Accord signs up to, which with the election of the Joe Biden government in America, we now have 70% of our trading partnerships are with countries that have committed to net zero emissions by 2050 or shortly thereafter. Over 60% of the world's emissions covered by those countries. We are left as a pariah state under this government. We are left with this as a pariah state because this government will not commit to the 2050 net zero emissions target, which is what the science says, which is what they signed up to with the Paris Accord. And what are the implications for Australia because of their criminal negligence and climate policy? We are facing—
Order. The member for Shortland will resume his seat. The member for Shortland will resume his seat. The member for Shortland cannot impute criminal assertions on those members opposite. The member for Shortland will withdraw that statement. The member for Shortland will withdraw that statement.
I withdraw, but I said criminal negligence. That is not criminality.
The member for Shortland will withdraw the statement.
I withdraw.
Thank you.
This government is recklessly indifferent to the future of this country. They are negligent and they need protection from people to cover up the fact that they are not committed to taking action on climate change. And what we will face? We will face carbon border adjustments. We will face border tariffs that will kill our export industries because this government does nothing. EU's already foreshadowed it. The Biden government party has already foreshadowed it. The member for Dawson might not accept that Biden will soon be the US president, but everyone else does, and they have been very open in saying that they will not allow countries to free ride, which is what will happen under this government because of their lack of a net zero emissions target. So not only does it make good science sense to sign up to net zero emissions, it makes good economic sense because we will face border tariff adjustments, we'll miss out on the opportunities of becoming a renewable energy superpower, all under a government that's had 22 energy policies, all under a government that lies to workers, about what is going on. They lie to workers about the change that is coming down the line. They lie to workers about that they don't need to do anything, and in the end they betray the future of those workers. They betray the work of regions like mine. They continue to lie about climate policy. They betray the future of this country, and they should be ashamed.